Move aside McKinnon and Makar. There's a new dynamic duo in town. It is Max Domi and Simon Benoit. The LeafsCast is back.
Holy mackerel, what a shot! It's Austin Matthews! Do you believe that? Pounds it off the roof of the net!
What?
You heard me.
Bust out the brooms, baby. The Leafs are on sweep alert as the Leafs just won their third game in a row of the series to take a 3-0 series lead against the Ottawa Senators. What?
3-0. There's nothing sweeter. Nothing sweeter.
Holy
Back-to-back
smokes.
overtime games. Man, I'm glad that the Leafs have been quick to wrap these things up. As playoff overtime stress is like, overtime is stressful, but it does give me solace knowing that the Ottawa fans were way more stressed than I was.
Well, you're totally right, Tim. Like, they had everything to lose. Like, you're down 0-2. You have to win that game. You could see that crowd was pumping when Tkachuk scored it late that third period. And it just felt like the world was just saying, it's okay, Senators, you could have this one. And nope, we just won anyway. And
I just hope we can win a game.
We did win a game. We've won 3 of them. What are you talking about? No, it's a big deal, man. Okay, well, we were, I mean, this game was tight. When we talk about, the differences between game 1 and how it's really gotten harder every single game, it felt like this one was a lot more action. Maybe the ice tilted in the Senators' favor for a decent bit of this game. I mean, the Leafs even were trailing for a portion of this game. It's the first time that's happened in this series. Leafs come out with the W 3-2 in overtime once again. Gosh, we got to get into every aspect of this game because so much more action than the last one, so many more storylines. So obviously the Leafs come out. Oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking now. Scoreless first period?
Scoreless first period. Ottawa was pushing hard, though, in that first period. Stolarz had to make a couple big saves.
We knew they would be, like, coming back into that building. Their first playoff game in that building for, 7 or 8 years? Like, it was, and I was pretty impressed. They locked it down, and it was all Senators fans in there. A few Leaf fans, but not the lopsided affair you usually see in the regular season. It was an effective building. Felt very loud. Yeah,
I wonder what what was the pause for the Leafs fans to try to get into that building? Are they expecting that there's going to be another home game or something of this series? Because I'm not really expecting that at this point. So Leafs fans really need to show up for the next one if you want to get a glimpse at any of these games in the first round against the Senators here. That first period too, I mean, Leafs are scoreless, and we've scored early every game this series, but you have to think, I mean, the calls were aplenty in tonight's game. The calls were aplenty, and the dives were aplenty. I'll say that, all right?
The calls were aplenty until the third period where the ref said, oh, I've hit my quota. I'm just going to stop calling. Maybe it's like calling all these ticky-tack calls on Matthew Knies and everyone else, and just maybe someone had a word with him and said, okay, cool it, buddy. He said, fine, I'll cool it. I'll call no more penalties. It's whatever.
There's been some weird calls in all the games, though. You go back to last game, the murder that was happening in front of the net with Stolarz, and somehow Greg gets a penalty. In the first game, they called a clear cross-check to Tavares' neck a major, and then with video review somehow walk it back to a minor. Both ways, I feel like both fan bases have the right to be angry at the refs for several penalties that have been called one way or the other. But
to be fair,
end of the day, it kind of all evens out.
To be fair, Leaf fans don't have a lot to be angry with at this point.
What do you mean? It really felt like, honestly, since game 1, the Senators have gotten the benefit of the doubt on most of these calls compared to the Leafs at this point. Mm-hmm. Especially tonight. I don't even feel like I'm a jabroni Leafs fan for complaining about it at this point. I mean, 2 or 3 clear dives in this game. Yes, that ticky-tack penalty against Matthew Knies for the cross-checking when he's actively being cross-checked at the exact same time with better vision to the ref on that cross-check than the other one. It's just something that the Leafs are going to have to overcome at this point. I have to think that the diving in this game, though, after these refs are reviewing these calls, I'm talking about now, I have to assume some of that's going to get locked up going forward. They're not going to get fooled like that again by Tkachuk and
Stützle for sure, yeah.
That's what we knew going into the series. I mean, they said he's tied for the league lead in drawn calls this regular season. So I don't know, something about that German little. I don't know if he's little. He's probably bigger than me.
He's a pretty big guy.
Oh my gosh! But I mean, really, the storyline out of this game is that the Leafs on the road with needing to obtain that killer instinct that the Leafs have lacked in so many of these kind of crucible games of playoff series in the back or in the past. And this Berube-led Maple Leaf squad is different. These Leafs are absolutely different because
it's so interesting just seeing how they're winning. Like, even though they are winning, and to the casual observer of which we can fall into at times, but it seems like Ottawa's dominating a lot of the plays here. But and then you look at the shot totals, and the Leafs are like getting way outshot and the chances. But it's like, well, how many chances from Ottawa were like dangerous? And it's like, well, Toronto is somewhat controlling the play as far as keeping the play the outside. The shots are from far. Like there's not a lot of dangerous chances. Then at least we'll kind of walk up the ice and get some dangerous chances to some extent. I would say that Ottawa definitely did have the edge for parts of this game, but it's so hard to evaluate. Like,
well, it's very hard to
all
evaluate.
According to plan for the Leafs.
It's the same thing as the last game where there was, what did they say, like 50 something odd minutes of real time between shots for the Ottawa Senators, and the first one goes in. Same thing here. It's like something like 40 minutes between shots and the first one goes in. We do this thing in the third period now, apparently, where we let them have the puck for basically the whole time, but they never get a shot, so the time just ticks away. And we did it last game. We did it again. Unfortunately, it's probably the weakest goal Stolarz has let in, the game-tying goal from Tkachuk. Just, like, beat clean from the back half of the circle, like, near the blue line. Like, I don't know, that one was... I wouldn't say I'm worried about Stolarz. He's still been phenomenal throughout this series so far. But that was definitely, I would consider, a weak goal against.
Yeah, I'm glad we got him the win, though. It's like, he's bailed us out so many times, we can bail him out this once.
It's just... even you can see it so clearly how different this team is, and even just like the preparation, how they're ready to go for these games. But yeah, nothing happens, and I have to give so much credit to the defenseman here. I mean, I know it's Simon Benoit night as he's scored a goal, and Ryan is the like dumbest member of the LeafsCast in history saying these defensemen aren't going to score any goals this series. Ryan, they're scoring all the goals this series,
they have
brother.
Almost half the goals.
But I mean, yeah, the Sens have the puck all the time, and the number of like Leafs that just like eliminate the puck from the opposer's stick the second that it gets on there, and just nothing is happening. I see so many takeaways, so many blocked shots. It's a weird way to watch playoff hockey. It does feel different than how we played in the regular season, but man, this Berube-led team is something else. And then when I talk about that killer instinct, it's because we've now gone to overtime 2 games in a row. And I wasn't as nervous going into tonight's overtime.
What is your secret? Because I was sweating buckets. Are you kidding me?
Well, I mean, we're up 2-0 in a series, and we're playing with house money, and I believe. Ryan clearly doesn't believe. But I'm saying that, like,
Stolarz.
They're not going into these overtimes playing with their food. The Senators didn't even get a shot off in this overtime. We go in there, the boys are ready to go. Nobody, like, you think of all the regular season overtimes where we go into it and like the Leafs just look like dog water for like 5 minutes straight or something. You know what I mean? Like, they don't seem ready. These guys were ready for this. Actually, I think I might be talking about years in the past. This year, I think overtimes were fine.
Well, I mean, even like before overtime hit, as soon as Ottawa tied it up and the Leafs had to get a goal again, it's just like the switch flicked and we looked incredibly offensively dangerous. We were pushing the play. We were getting so many high close danger chances, so close to ending it in regulation. Like it gives me like so much of this series we've been leading, right? Almost the entire first game, most of the second game. And the back half of this game we've been leading. There's not a lot of it where we're either tied or trying to get a goal because we're behind. And at the end of that third period, like just the final 5 minutes, the Leafs looked hungry to win. Like, not just make it to overtime, not just like wait for a perfect play to develop or something. They were pushing the play, making Ottawa make mistakes, taking advantage of those mistakes, and getting grade A opportunities. They weren't able to score, but they carried it on right into overtime. And then all it takes is our secret weapon that we've been holding back all year, Simon Benoit, just a rocket from the point. Like, who is this man? Oh, I love it.
Kevin Bieksa called him the best number 6 defenseman in the league. And I laughed at him at that time. It's like, oh, what a silly thing to call him. But you never, I'm starting to grow. It's starting to grow on me. Like, how many number 6 defensemen are
playoff
overtime
Riley
heroes?
And playoff Benoit? They are different animals.
Well, and Benoit, overtime hero 2 games in a row, right? He gets the assist and the screen and the overtime in game 2. We actually acquired some of the audio from the Leafs dressing room going into that overtime. David, can you play that exclusive audio? This is a LeafsCast exclusive.
Who's going to carry the boats and the logs?
Wait, no, sorry, I missed that, David. One more time.
Who's going to carry the boats and the logs?
That's Max Pacioretty, by the way, as he's covered in some animal's blood that they just sacrificed in the dressing room. Comes out there. Who's going to carry the logs, Rye? Simon Benoit.
He carried them.
They don't know me, son.
Will any Leafs defenseman not score in this playoff run? We'll see. But it's...
Are we going to talk about Austin Matthews? Ryan summoning a goal here wearing his jersey.
That's
Finally
right.
gets on the score sheet. Love how they came out with that third period.
Well, he was, I think, one shot. Like, the Leafs, again in this game, very few shots. I think we ended with, well, in regulation, I think it was like 17 shots or something. I'm not sure what we ended up with in overtime. Austin Matthews, one shot through the first 2 periods. Mm-hmm. And then, he buries a sick feed from Mitch Marner where, 2 people knew where that puck was going. God and Mitch Marner. You could see Omar staring into the stands. He had no idea where that thing was going, and it's in the back of the net. And it was a nice goal by Austin Matthews, but an even nicer pass by Mitch Marner. And
absolutely anybody could have scored that goal. Dave on the buttons could have scored that goal. Are you kidding me with that feed from Mitch Marner? Just like the one touch through the legs right on Matthews' stick. Allmark looked like a fool on that play. They showed it in slow motion afterwards, and he is just looking the wrong way. He is waiting for a bus or something, but it's not. He is not looking on the right side of the net, and it looked bad. Austin Matthews, I guess, way to capitalize on your opportunity. Jake Evans didn't for the Montreal Canadiens, and Matthews put it right where you need to when you have a wide open net. It was a real important goal. So,
wow,
important goal.
Anybody else stand out to you guys tonight? Any other players on the Leafs?
What'd you guys think of Pacioretty drawing in for Nick Robertson tonight?
Wasn't that surprised? I think we kind of called it last time as far as Robertson. Not to say that we've seen the last of him. I think he does draw back in. You'll draw back in, they'll score a goal Robertson way. But it was time for a change. It was interesting to see that it was Pacioretty and not David Kampf. But I think, Stephen, like you said last time, with Robertson coming out, they needed a shooting winger to fill that spot. And David Kampf, great NHLer, maybe serviceable NHLer, not his role, right? And so I think I did like the fit of where they put him in there, as far as like Pacioretty does have a shot. He gives that line a bit of an identity of like that's the rough line. Wouldn't say he's like had a standout game. Like I think he played a pretty classic Pacioretty game. Like he hit things,
which is encouraging. He hasn't played in 2.5 months, and I didn't know if he was going to come back in and just look lethargic out there. It's hard jumping back in after 2.5 months in a regular season game, let alone like game 3 of a Battle of Ontario playoff series. And I thought it didn't look like he didn't miss a step. You're right, he didn't necessarily have a standout game. He's not getting the belt by any means, but I thought it was an encouraging game for Max Pacioretty. I want to see him in there for game 4, and I don't know if I'm like, I didn't see enough from Robertson to say that I'm clamoring for him to come back in over Pacioretty. So I thought it was a fine first game back for him, and he should only get better from here.
Maybe not a standout game, but honestly, I thought he was the best part of that third line tonight.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's maybe says a little more about how I think my man, Bobby McMahon, and playoff hero Max Domi, just, it was fine. It was fine, but I just thought they looked best tonight as a unit with Max Pacioretty in the lineup. So I really don't think we'll see Nicky Robb unless the Leafs something bad happens. I mean, not that I imagine in my wildest nightmares they could lose a game this series, but if it were to happen, maybe Nicky Robb draws back in. But I don't know. Max Pacioretty, like, he does all the little things right, kind of better than Nicky Robb, and he was bringing the boom. Actually, Nicky Robb might draw back in because they're going to break Max Pacioretty in half because he was getting hammered by everybody, which is so consistent with how he was the rest of the regular season. I don't know what he's doing to piss everybody off immediately because it feels like we don't see him like being a rat like, you know, Ridley Gregg or whoever, but like he's out here just getting like hammered. And I'm just like, this man's, what is he, 37? I'm 36. That was LeBron this one time when like, I think it was like, the Golden State War. Leafs talk only. Okay, anyway. Yeah, Max Pacioretty back in. That's the only lineup change really going into this game. So, and especially since they get the win too, I think it just stays the same.
Yeah, I agree.
Going into a Saturday night tilt.
And it probably should stay the same. Like, even though Ottawa had some pressure here and there, it still felt like the Leafs were able to push their play on the Senators. Like, the Senators aren't able to get inside and create in tight chances. That's exactly what the Leafs are trying to do. Keep them to the outside, block all their shots. That's what's happening. They don't get any shots in the third period, except for the one that goes in. But, like, if you simulate that game, like, over and over and over again, like, if we're able to keep doing that, odds are it's going to work out for us. You don't score goals if you get 0 shots making it to Anthony Stolarz. So, it's I think they should keep the same lineup because I think we've been the better team through 3 games, and I think we deserve all 3 wins that we've got so far.
In my unbiased opinion, we deserve everything we get.
I'm not biased at all. Ignore my jersey.
I don't think it's a hot take to say that the team that's up 3-0 is the better team in the series so far. I think it's a pretty apt take.
That's got to be a pretty crushing loss for Ottawa.
Oh, yeah.
Like, your first game at home, and you have that emotional comeback, the building's rocking, you lose in overtime.
Oh, they're just trying to win a game.
In like a minute, they lose.
I just hope we can win a game.
That's the locker room.
It'll be interesting how they come out in game 4. Like, is this team now just like folded over and done? Or are they have nothing to lose and this will be the best version of the Senators we see? Are we going to see the Leafs finally just like have the chance to end it and just end it on their first try? Man, I hope so.
I hope so. It's funny, the parallels. I'm thinking back to the young Leafs team of 2017 going against Washington. You'll recall in that series, I think we had it was like three or four. No, was it? I don't know. I want to say 4 or 5 of the games.
Series.
Yeah, lots of overtime, and each game like so close, and it felt like we were losing by inches. Like we like so much to like good things that happened in those games, but we were losing. And so, like, I think the Ottawa coach in the post game presser was saying like, "Oh well, I don't know what to say. Like, it's backbreaking. There's lots of things you like to take away, but eventually you need wins, right? Like, you're down 3 games to 0. It's hard to be optimistic. Not to say that like teams have never come back from that. And I mean, I'm sure Ottawa's counting on the Leafs being the same old Leafs. And
being the Leafs. That's a pretty good thing to count on.
Pretty good thing to count on. And so, like, I don't know. So I'm maybe not quite as planning the sweep quite yet, but it'll be big on Saturday. See how they respond. LeafsCast did predict 5 games.
Yeah, I know.
It does require a loss.
We predicted 5 games. Yeah, but I don't think any of us were emotionally ready for that game that takes it to 5. You know, I think now at this point we're ready for 4. And I don't want to hear about the Leafs leafing. All right, this is different. Somebody's got to carry the logs on this team, and it's going to be Ryan. Name a defenseman.
Who's going to carry the boats and the logs?
It's Craig Berube, and I think that he deserves some love so far because for the first time in the Austin Matthews era, we have the better coach. If you look at the way this series has gone, like the job that Craig Berube is doing, we just feel like the exact team that we lost against all those years, and we complained about how much better their coach was than ours because we couldn't figure out a way. It just feels so script reversing, and honestly, it makes me think back to that Columbus series back in the bubble, when we had all these shots, we're dominating the play, And I remember Kyle Dubas quoted our shooting percentage, something like 2 point something percent. And it's like, oh, we're just unlucky and we're losing. And now I'm looking back at that saying like, no, like that's talk. That's a strategy in a sense of limiting the danger chances, only letting like easy saves make it through, and blocking all the shots and making your other team frustrated. Like it works. We've seen it against us, and now we're seeing it now. And I think Craig Berube is a huge part of that. I'm very impressed with the job he's doing in the playoffs so far.
I mean, to be fair, like the best playoff strategy is have a Vezina caliber goaltender in net to bail you out of everything. But you are right as far as like Ottawa hasn't had an answer. Like Leafs defensive play has been able to limit the danger chances. Like, I mean, Ottawa misses.
To say though that it's just like have a Vezina goaltender, Tim, they didn't have a shot on net until like 8 minutes left of the third. Like that we just shut them down. That's not Stolarz. Not to take anything away from the guy, he's been phenomenal. But like the team as a whole, like even going as far as the forwards, I saw Nylander back check today.
No,
it was amazing.
William,
so it's
Michael's son.
It's all coming together, and I think Craig Berube is, as much as like I think Stolarz is probably the biggest reason why this year feels like it could be different from other years, but I think probably the coach is number 2 on the list if you ask me.
Man, this series is so reminiscent to that series we had in '61 against the Canadians.
I remember that well.
Yeah,
yes.
it's just, we don't even need to go into the details, but it is so.
What were you wearing for that series?
Same suit jacket that
That's
I do
the jacket,
forever.
right?
Yeah. It was a different time. That's when everybody did wear suits to hockey games, and there was no glass on the boards. It's just like the photos are insane, and we were there. Okay,
that's right.
What are you looking for in the next game? What's the key to closing out this series in 4, sweep style, no games in Toronto next week, series done Saturday night in the Capitol? What are you looking for?
Early on, I want to see the Leafs pour it on early and get up in an early lead. I was the first period where it was tied 0-0. I was like, I hate being tied. I want to be winning. I'm spoiled after the first games. I want to see the Leafs jump out early and then just limit them to no shots.
I want to see Austin Matthews take over a game. He gets a goal tonight, but I don't know that I would say he took over in the game tonight. And Austin Matthews has the capability of being the best player in this series, and I just want to see that because I'm ready for that to be the next level of this team, right? Like we won tonight with, again, he gets a nice goal, but like Ryan said, funky Uncle Dave on the buttons probably could have whacked that one in. I actually don't think he could, Ryan, honestly. No, but
okay.
That's what I'm looking for is Austin Matthews. I'm looking for a W, but I'm looking for Austin Matthews. I think if it comes on the back of Austin Matthews, that's even sweeter. I
mean, just to your point, Steven, like, can you imagine this series is 3-0 right now, and Austin Matthews has barely showed up. Can you imagine if he was dominating Ottawa like he did in his first game of his career? Like, we'd go from 12 total goals to 16. Like, it'd be pretty good. For me, I'm going to say I want to see a little bit more from Simon Benoit. He has just kind of blended into the background of these games. You never notice him really pushing offensively, and
you want the defense to be more offensively.
Yeah, that's right.
Wait, is Simon Benoit on the current team or that 61 team against the Canadians?
Yeah, I'm talking about no glass Simon Benoit.
Got it.
That's
okay.
What I'm talking about. I'm going to say the penalty kill. I've seen Ottawa's power play kind of gaining some momentum here. They seem to be able to snap around the puck a little too easy, find the seams. I don't actually even know if they had a power play goal this game. I don't think they did, but they look more dangerous.
They scored 5 on 3.
Oh, yes, that's right. Okay, well, I guess I can't fault them on that one, but I don't know. It just seems like we're a little too loose on the PK, and I like it when our PK scores every single time. We got another one tonight. But
here's the problem.
I want to see if we clean it up.
Our power play is so dangerous. The refs are paranoid about giving us any power plays. They say, like, shoot, they're going to score on 50% of them, so better give, like, half the amount of opportunities.
The Leafs are up 3-0 in a series for the first time since 1960 when Steven's referencing, and Tim still hates the refs.
Well, it is. I mean, they would have. I know it was 5-3. They would have made it 5-2 if Matthew Nyes had farted on somebody out there. I tell you what, it is they are just marching our guys to the box. I think we had 2 5-on-3s or 3-on-5s, whatever tonight. It's ridiculous.
To be fair though, that penalty Nylander took to make it 5-on-3. What an idiot. Why are you taking that penalty, sticking your knee out like that? That is not the kind of stuff we need. Nylander, clean it up. Clean up your stuff.
Do you want to sit him for a game like you wanted Nicky Robb to sit, Rye?
Did you guys see that Patrick Laine did not play the third period when they were trailing in goals? What? He was so good for them down the stretch. Bench him. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Also, as soon as I saw that, I just thought we were that close. One, ping pong ball away from, instead of getting Austin Matthews, getting a bum like Patrick Laine. That close. That close to our lives being changed.
Wasn't there a stat everybody else in the top 10 of that draft has been traded except for Austin Matthews? You got Dubois after that, and
yeah.
Oh man,
Matthews will never be traded. In 2 years, he'll be playing with Connor McDavid when he's done with his trash team. So we're good to go. I'm just trashing all the other teams tonight.
Anybody else you want to call out? Anybody? While you're here?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. You just want to be happy? We're up 3-0. This is so foreign territory to us, by the way.
You kidding me?
This is insane. I hope that the listeners aren't. Yeah, I hope the listeners aren't. Well, the listeners are in the same boat as us. I mean, just soak it in, guys. Enjoy it. Okay, pod's done, right? We're wrapping up.
Wrap it up.
Shout out to John Tavares, by the way, for winning every face-off. He's the best player I've ever seen in my whole life. Saturday night.
The next time we see each other, we'll be even happier than we are now.
Please make my day. Make my Saturday. All right, good night. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe. Tell your grandma about the pod. Enjoy your Friday. Go Leafs, go.